Welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're looking at a pretty significant announcement from Major League Baseball.
Yeah, this just came out May 14th, 2025. It's about the permanently ineligible list.
Exactly. And it affects some really iconic names in baseball history. So our goal here is to unpack what this change means, the history behind it.
And maybe explore some surprising angles, too. Even if you follow baseball closely, there's some interesting stuff here.
Definitely. So, the main news. MLB is changing its policy. Deceased individuals will now be removed from the permanently ineligible list.
Right. Commissioner Manfred put out a statement. He basically said, once an individual has passed away, the purposes of Rule 21 have been served.
Rule 21 being the rule covering these lifetime bans.
Yeah, exactly. His point is that the deterrent effect, stopping others from doing the same thing, that really only applies while the person's alive.
Okay, that makes a certain kind of sense.
It does. It suggests the primary goal of the lifetime ban, in their view now, is that living deterrent. Once someone's gone, that specific purpose is, well, moot.
And the names that immediately jump out are, of course, Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson. Huge figures.
Absolutely.
Oh.
But the article mentions there are actually 15 others affected, too.
Right, and it's retroactive. So this includes the 8 Chicago White Sox players from the 1919 Black Sox scandal. Sakat, Felsch, Gandill.
Like Mullen, Risberg, Weaver, Lefty Williams.
Yeah.
Yep, that whole group. Banned for life after the fix.
That scandal really set the precedent, didn't it? Baseball cracking down hard to protect the game's integrity.
It absolutely did. So this new policy is kind of acknowledging, okay, time has passed, death is final. Maybe the punishment in its original form has run its course posthumously.
Let's talk about Pete Rose. He passed away last year, and his playing record is just undeniable. 4,256 hits.
The all-time leader. Hall of Fame performance, no question.
But he got that lifetime ban for betting on Reds games while he was their manager back in the 80s. Always bet on them to win, importantly.
Right, which is a distinction he always made.
Okay.
But betting on your own team, in any capacity, was a line he crossed according to MLB rules. Rule 21 again.
So what does this policy change mean for him now, posthumously?
Well, technically, he's no longer on the ineligible list. This means he can be considered for the Hall of Fame. The article mentions the 2027 Classic Baseball Era Committee ballot.
Okay, so the door is open, but maybe just a crack.
Exactly. Getting off the list doesn't guarantee election. Far from it.
Because Hall voters look at integrity, sportsmanship, character. That whole clause.
Precisely. And the article specifically mentions serious allegations beyond gambling related to Rose. Those haven't gone away. So voters will still weigh all of that.
It clears one major roadblock, but not the whole path.
That's a good way to put it.
Then there's Shoeless Joe Jackson, tied forever to that 1919 fix.
But it's so complex with him, isn't it? Because he played incredibly well in that World Series. Hit .375.
Which always made people wonder, how involved was he really? Did he try his best despite knowing about the fix? It fuels that debate.
And it shows in his Hall of Fame voting history, or lack thereof. Minimal support back in the 30s and 40s. The scandal shadow was just too long.
So like Rose, he's now technically eligible for consideration by future committees. But the historical context is still there.
Absolutely. The facts of the scandal haven't changed, just his status on that specific MLB list.
The article touches on a few others, too, like Gene Paulette, Benny Koff, Phil Douglas.
Right. Others banned for various reasons over the years, but their playing careers weren't really at that Hall of Fame level anyway.
So while they're also removed from the list, it doesn't spark the same kind of Hall of Fame debate as with Rose and Jackson.
No. The main focus, the real historical significance of this change, really centers on those two iconic, controversial figures.
So stepping back, what are the bigger implications here?
Well, it provides clarity, first off.
Mm.
We now know how MLB will treat ineligible individuals after they pass away. That's settled.
Okay.
But it also inevitably reopens these historical debates. Punishment, redemption, how standards change over time.
And how we view figures from different eras through today's lens.
Exactly. It forces a conversation about legacy and baseball's values.
So, to sum it up for everyone listening, MLB's policy shift means deceased individuals are off the permanently ineligible list. This mainly impacts Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, potentially allowing Hall of Fame discussion.
Key word. Potentially. No guarantees on election for either.
Right. It just removes one specific barrier.
And it leaves us, and you, maybe thinking about a bigger question. How do sports leagues juggle protecting their game's integrity right now?
With how they remember history, acknowledge contributions, and handle the idea of sort of posthumous recognition.
Yeah. What does this specific decision tell us about how we judge complex figures from baseball's past? Something to chew on.